Youngest victim now of Chicago's violence is fighting for her life. That's Terry Anna Smith. She's just a month old. She was shot in the head and then critically wounded while strapped to her car seat last week. She was among 7 people shot there in the city. Her uncle, who's an activist in his Chicago community, is speaking out. He tells Fox News this morning he's not seeing urgency from leaders to really try and fix this problem. Listen to what he says.
It feel like no one care, and it's only one of me. I know other people say they care. People can talk about it, but you have to be boots on the ground. I continue my journey fighting for what I believe in to help other young individuals like myself to make a change and a difference. But, man, I don't know.
Well, Jason Rantz is a Seattle radio talk show host. He joins us now to talk about this violence on the West Coast and all across the nation. Jason, I don't know if it's because I'm about to deliver a baby girl in a week or so myself, but this story stopped me dead in my tracks this morning when I heard it, when I listened to Terry Ann's uncle talk about how she was shot in the head while in her car seat. I mean, it's hard to even do this reader, to be honest. I'm feeling a little sick to my stomach.
I can't blame you. I mean, kids are getting injured and killed on the streets of this country. And
a 1-month-old. I mean, she's not dead. She is fighting for her life and being a champion.
She is fighting for her life. Yes, and hopefully she'll come out of this. But the problem is we do have leaders who are choosing to sit back and not treat this with the sense of urgency that it demands. You have Democrats who for the longest time talk about going after the root causes of all these things. And yet in this case, they're not talking about root causes, which we know. It's the defund the police movement. It's prosecutors who are choosing to go easy on criminals, releasing them sometimes the same day or the very next day, despite having a violent criminal background. They are instead talking about, well, we're going to go after guns. Going after the guns doesn't do anything in this case, because usually when they're talking about going after guns, they're going after people who are law-abiding citizens. They're not going after the gangbangers who are out there shooting people, including children in this country. They have to step up, or we're going to continue to see more dead bodies pile up.
So to that point, we know that the president met with Lori Lightfoot for just under 3 minutes yesterday on that tarmac meeting. The White House, Jen Psaki, tells us that what he told her is that the DOJ is launching a strike force that's meant to crack down on gun trafficking in Chicago and 4 other cities, including New York. So there we go. Is that problem solved?
Yeah, hey, 3 minutes, the most efficient way to go about solving this problem. Look, you should be going after, obviously, illegal gun sales and all of this. But remember, this is a president who, instead of going after the defund movement, decided to go after ghost guns. Are ghost guns responsible for this? Are AR-15s responsible for the violence that we're seeing in this country? No. Go ahead, get those guns. But you have to make sure that you're going after the people who are using those guns. And that means turning away from a light on crime approach. I'm not for throwing kids in jail who steal a candy bar from a 7-Eleven. But if you're out there and you're using a weapon and you're using it to hurt other people and or kill them, sorry, I don't believe in restorative justice for those folks. You can't just send them to art therapy, which is an actual thing that some people are pushing these people to go into, these criminals. You got to go hard on these folks, because when you tell the world, when you tell bad guys that, yeah, we're not really going to punish you, you're going to get a slap on the wrist. Well, guess what? They're going to take advantage of that. And that's what we're seeing across the country.
So now last month, Democratic Chicago Alderman Raymond Lopez accused Mayor Lightfoot of flip-flopping on her stance on federal help. This is relevant because even though it happened a month ago, this is what she talked to the president about by her own volition yesterday. Take a listen.
It's completely hypocritical for this mayor, who just a year ago did not want help from President Trump, who, by the way, I was not a fan of, but now says we need federal help from President Joe Biden. Clearly, the politics of it was more important to this mayor than saving people's lives.
What do you think?
Oh, he's absolutely right. I mean, the reason why they didn't want to go and get help from Donald Trump was because they knew that the president had a different ideological perspective on going after crime. You know, with Joe Biden, you're not going to get the same tough on crime approach, so it's politically a little bit easier. But that's why we're not going to see any meaningful results. You're going after a president for help as someone who does not believe in putting criminals in jail, you've got a part of the Democratic Party right now that believes that the entire justice system is racist, that it comes from a position of white supremacy, and it has to be dismantled and then rebuilt. And so if you come from that mindset, you're not going to utilize the tools that are there to go after these problems. This truly isn't rocket science. We could figure out very easily what can be done today to go after these criminals, but they refuse to do it because it doesn't play into their beliefs.
So let's talk about the politics angle to this story. The Washington Post fact checker dinged the White House yesterday over its claim that Republicans are the party to blame for defunding the police. The paper basically gave the Biden team 3 Pinocchios, one of their worst ratings, and then the Post's Salvador Rizzo wrote, although Republicans all opposed Biden's coronavirus relief package, no one voted to cut or defund anything. Rather, Democrats proposed $350 billion in emergency funds for state and local governments. Republicans voted against those extra funds. Do you think it's fair to break this down along political lines like this?
It's politics, so yes, I suppose it's fair. I think that when the Washington Post, yeah, exactly. When the Washington Post is calling you out, when other liberal networks are calling out the messaging, that means 2 things. Number one, it's horrible spin. I'm a fan of good spin where I can look at it and say, I am in awe of what you just did there. I see what you did, but I'm in awe of this. This was just stupid. It didn't make any sense. Logically, it made no sense either, because you can't defund something by saying no to giving more funds to organizations. But pushing that aside, the politics, I think, of this are really, really important, and that's why you're starting to see the pushback. They know that the defund movement and all that came with it it's hurting Democrats. You look at New York City and who they went with. They went with the most conservative person they could for mayor, a former cop. I do think that that sends a message to a lot of the Democrats who are probably looking at this and saying, yeah, this is going to hurt us.
Certainly, if that's the message from voters in New York City, we can expect it's going to be messaging from other parts of the country where the violence is even worse. All right, Jason Rantz from Seattle, thanks so much.
Thanks, Jillian.